The Comic Relief Podcast is an unscripted discussion about the pop culture surrounding comic books with your host,
Uncanny Thomas Logue,
and astonishing Amy Logue.
All right, so we are here at Free Comic Book Day 2017 at Southern California Comics. And since Maico is not here, I have substituted him with my wonderful wife, Amy Logue. Amy, how are you today?
I'm doing well. It's cold. It's cold today.
She is currently wearing my Star-Lord jacket and still cold, even though she looks super hot. So we just got through on Thursday seeing Guardians of the Galaxy, which you may be able to hear in the background.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Volume 2.
Hashtag, obviously. What were your thoughts?
I really liked it. I don't feel like it was probably as good as the first one because the first one was such a sleeper. You know, like you didn't really think that it would be so good. But I really do like it a lot. Plus, I like Groot.
And there is a lot of Baby Groot. We should say potentially there will be spoilers in this podcast if we're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And if you've not seen it yet, you should go see it.
Yeah, so there is. It starts out right in the beginning with a lot of Baby Groot throughout the whole movie.
For me, it was an overabundance of Baby Groot in the intro because in the intro, it starts with Baby Groot walking around doing a little dance. And in the background, you can see the rest of the Guardians are fighting this space alien battery-devouring monster. But we don't really get to see them fight. It's like Baby Groot, a little bit of them fighting. Baby Groot, a little bit of them fighting. Baby Groot.
I don't know. I thought it was really cute, but I didn't really, watching the fight wasn't that big of a deal for me. So.
But there was like action happening in the background, and we just watched Baby Groot dance in a circle and eat.
Maybe it didn't capture my imagination very much.
Clearly. Bugs. And they get yelled at by Rocket.
I know. He's cute.
This movie should have literally been called Groot and the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, for sure. They really did realize what a character they have in Groot. They really did push him to the front, which I can understand. If you were a purist, you would be a little annoyed.
Well, it's not even that. It's just it was so much Groot. It's like if they do an X-Men movie and then they just focus on Wolverine and then the X-Men are in the background. It's annoying.
But you don't like that either.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's annoying.
You're not a big Wolverine fan.
I do like Wolverine except for when
No,
they
you
overdo
don't.
him. When they overdo him, I don't like Wolverine. I don't like the Wolverine movies. No, that's different.
Well, there were actually other characters that I enjoyed in this movie besides Baby Groot. I really like Drax.
So in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, I don't think that Drax got to shine. Like, he was there, and, like, he went to go fight Ronan and basically got his kicked. So I felt like Drax got punked a lot in the first movie. But in the second movie, other than Groot, I think Drax shines the most.
Yeah, I definitely feel like he's come into his own as a character there, and he's hilarious and so dry and sarcastic without wanting to be sarcastic. But I do believe this movie did kind of give each character its own moment to shine a little bit. Gamora had stuff with Nebula, and obviously Peter had stuff with, spoiler alert, his father.
Well, they already spoiled that in the stupid trailer.
Yeah.
Hashtag angry.
And then Rocket had moments with, oh my god, I forgot his name off the top of my head.
Yondu,
yeah. So, I mean, I definitely feel like they did take time to, give each character their own storyline instead of them as a collective group.
Speaking of Rocket, my problem with Rocket is in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, he was pretty much portrayed an through the whole movie. But in the first movie, if you see him, he's actually smart, he's funny, he's intelligent, he does a bunch of cool stuff. But in Guardians 2, he's pretty much just an through the whole movie, except for near the end with Yondu. Like, his sarcasm and stuff didn't come off cute and funny like the first one. Like, 10%, that's not a plan, and that all that's and that. That's a real
definitely.
laugh. There was none
he
of that.
definitely did come off a little bit like an a-hole in this movie.
Come on, you a-holes.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the whole movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed the whole movie as a whole. There were just a lot of quirks that bugged me. And it's not that it was different from the comic or anything like that. I just thought it was weird for what I was expecting for Guardians of the Galaxy, having seen the first one. For example, spoiler alert, when Peter
Are you
Quill,
spoiling the first movie?
No, the second movie.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying the first movie was very human. The first movie was very human. A lot of heart. The second movie, I don't think it had a lot of heart. The heart doesn't come in till the very end when Yondu's like, no, I need to do this. That's suddenly when the heart, like in the first movie, they get you right from the hook with Peter's mom. In this one, I had a hard time feeling compassionate towards anyone except for Drax. Drax and Mantis, because the combination of Drax and Mantis was incredible. You're beautiful on the inside. And then I like the thing about where he doesn't wear the jacket. I have sensitive nipples.
If I had a qualm about this movie, I don't quite care.
Not enough Baby Groot?
No. I don't quite care for the villains.
Oh, for Ego? And
No. Ego's fine. I get it. I mean, Ego. He has an ego. But I mean, no,
Nebula?
No, I like Nebula. No, the
Ravagers?
The Golden Girls.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I don't really care for them very much.
I don't think you're supposed to because they're completely emotionless. I guess if that's
a word.
But
they're
not.
Not. Because when they were chasing and they were behind each other, there's one left. Like, there was a lot of emotion about wanting them to, kill the Guardians.
Because they said in the beginning, never slight them or else they'll try to kill you.
Yeah.
That's the price of slighting them. So I understood that. It's just everything was ego to them. That's what was odd. Like, they come off initially as having no emotion, but when they do
they have a lot of emotion.
Yeah, like when they do the arcade, it's the best way to describe it. It's the arcade sequence when they're in the little machines and shooting at the Guardians. They do a lot of like one-liners that I thought, this is again the movie trying too hard to be funny. Like, they shouldn't have done like, how typical, like when the guy blows up, whatever. I just thought that contradicted what you've already seen of these standoffish golden people that I can't remember the names of. There was no reason to hate them or really like them. They were just kind of there to be the bad people.
With the feeling of the fact that you're going to see them again, obviously. So
yeah, and I thought the part with Sylvester Stallone and his crew of Ravagers suddenly finding Yondu at the bar and saying, yeah, you've been exiled, seemed like out of nowhere to me. Like, there was no setup to that. They just found them, and that was it. Like, I wish they would have shown, like, Sylvester Stallone and his crew earlier in the movie saying, hey, we've got, like, a beacon on Yondu, let's go find him. Or something, because he just...
But I don't think they really wanted to kill Yondu. I don't think they cared for Yondu. I think they were at a Ravager bar, and they bumped into him, and basically you found out the backstory about how Yondu was running children for Ego, and then he figured out what Ego was doing, so he kept Peter Quill. But that's why Sylvester Stallone's character was mad at him, because he said, we don't deal in children.
But I kind of
So it wasn't like they really wanted anything to do with Yondu.
Yeah, I just felt like it was rushed, though, because, like, oh, we bumped into you at the bar, and we're the other Ravager organization. You know what I mean? Because if you watch Guardians of the Galaxy 1, it seems like the Ravagers are like a single organization, right? Yondu is part of their captain or whatever.
They have different teams.
Yeah, they have different factions.
Well,
of
I mean, probably that was all set up for the fact of the end.
Right. I'm just saying, I wish there was a warm-up to that, rather than just a coincidence we ran into you in the bar, and by the way, you're not a Ravager, you've been kicked out.
So what's your opinion? Do you think that all of them are going to show up for Infinity?
Yes. I think all of them will show up with Infinity because, spoiler alert, we've already said it, at the end of Guardians 2, we do see a little thing that says Guardians of the Galaxy will be back. So we know there's going to be a third one. What I hoped would happen in the second one is that Nebula and Gamora would bury their beef a little sooner, and that Nebula would actually be a part of the Guardians.
I think it's going to be really hard for Nebula to come around. I mean...
Well, she's saved Gamora a few times now, so
yeah,
I think she has upper hand.
It's going to take her a little while just to embrace it all, just because, for God's sake, she's more than half mechanical because of Gamora.
Which was a cool backstory that you find out in the movie.
I really like Mantis.
Mantis was awesome, and
I really like Drax
because of Drax.
Yeah, I like Drax and Mantis
dynamic
together. I thought they were really sweet and funny, and really two totally different characters come together.
I do like how she seemed to be drawn to Drax. Like, she wanted to tell Drax about Ego, but as soon as Gamora came out, she shut up about it. Like, she didn't trust Gamora.
When she came to Drax when he was sleeping, and he thought that she wanted to get some, and he almost started puking.
He's like, what's wrong? Just thinking about laying with you. Oh. Yeah, the Drax and Mantis duo was very, very incredible.
So super spoiler alert. Well, not really spoiler alert. I just like to say it. But because of my job, I've already seen this movie before.
Right.
Outside of Baby Groot, it's been very hard for me to like hold on to tell you like I really like Drax because he never really came to the forefront originally in the first movie for me. I mean, he had funny parts or whatever like that, but I've known since February, and the whole time I've been like, you would say something and I'd be like, oh, but I want to talk about Drax, or like when you saw the trailer and you're like, I don't believe they put an egos there, and I'm like, but he's in the whole movie. Like,
well, I know he's in. I figured he'd be in the whole movie. It was just
kind of funny. I'm like, okay.
I totally thought Ego was going to be the villain based on the trailers at first until they showed, oh, I'm your dad. All right, so you're here at Free Comic Book Day. How's it going so far?
It's really cool.
Totally cool. What have you gotten? I see that your dad there has a bag of some stuff going on.
Yeah, we got the Tony Stark pop for Homecoming.
Nice.
Star-Lord.
That's a cool one. That's actually a really cool one.
Yeah, and Yakko from Animaniacs.
Oh, very cool.
And then I got Raphael, the Ninja Turtle shirt.
Nice. I assume he's your favorite?
Yes.
So what makes him your favorite out of all the 4 cool turtles?
Well, I have a turtle named Raphael.
Good enough.
Well, he can't. Yeah, our friends gave him to him, and his name was Raphael.
Oh,
and
cool.
I like him.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy yet?
No, but we're planning to later today.
Very cool. Very cool. I think you're gonna like it.
Okay.
Do you read any comics?
Yeah, I read Nova, Spider-Man, Avengers. I read all different Avengers before it ended. Oh, Darkwing Duck. I like all the Disney ones.
Cool. That's very cool.
I'm reading the 2014 Secret Wars.
Oh, okay. How is Secret Wars? I'm actually not reading it. It's a lot of books, but
it's good. Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah,
very cool.
I like it a lot.
Are you reading the current Nova book with Sam and Rich?
Yeah, I got to the part where he's about to go look. Sam's about to go look for him in space.
Okay.
I haven't read it for a while.
Just so you know, unfortunately, the current Nova book is coming to an end.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm bummed. I'm really bummed. But that'll give you money to buy another comic. What is your favorite comic that you enjoy reading? Of all the ones. Choices.
Yeah. I really liked the Guardians 2014 run. I really liked that one. Cool. I have all of those.
So what is it about that book that sticks out the most? Is it the characters?
The characters, it's funny, it's action, it's a good story.
Very cool. Do you like the comic because you've seen the first movie? Like you can
kind of understand it? I actually read it before I watched the first movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really cool then. A lot of people don't know those Guardians of the Galaxy before the movie.
Yeah, the movie came out, and then I got the comics, and I was reading them. I was like halfway through, then I watched the movie, then I finished.
That is awesome. Is there any TV shows that you watch that are superhero related?
Yeah, I watched The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and Supergirl.
Okay.
Legends of Tomorrow season 2 just ended.
Yes, but I'm behind on that. I've got, I think, 2 more episodes. How are you liking those shows?
I really like them. The Flash has been. This season wasn't my favorite, but
The Flash is my well.
The Flash is my favorite show, but just this season hasn't been my favorite season.
Kind of iffy on the season.
Yeah.
I still have like a few more on that, so I still have to finish. Do they talk about who? What's his name? Savitar?
Savitar, yeah.
Yeah. Do they show who he is?
The latest episode, they just showed who it was.
Very cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Was it worth the wait with the reveal?
Well, it was a good reveal. It just the episode was so good. That was like the worst part of the episode.
The reveal was the worst part of the episode.
The episode just
the episode
it was a
itself
really
was
good
good.
episode. Yeah.
Very cool. I am looking forward to catching up on that. We've been traveling and all that stuff, so I'm behind on a bunch of my shows. Is there anything else you're gonna do here at Free Comic Book Day? You gonna walk around, see some more stuff, or?
I think we're gonna go after this.
You already went through all the booths? Did you already go in the comic store too?
No, we haven't.
Oh, see? You should go in there. Your dad's like, no, don't go in there. Well, thank you for coming on, man.
Thanks.
And before you go, what's your name?
Oh, my name's Ryan.
Ryan. Thank you for coming on, Ryan.
Thank
Listen
you.
for yourself, man.
Thanks.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
Bye. All right, that was Ryan. That was really cool. Second year in a row he's come on to our little show.
I know he was excited, and he said he listens to you, and they
really
waited.
Cool.
It was cute, for sure.
And so going back to Guardians of the Galaxy, you were talking about Drax and having to keep it quiet.
I know, so that's what I did.
That was well worth the wait. That was worth the wait. So glad we came back to that piece.
I do have an opinion. I enjoy
Naturally.
the first Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack better than the second one.
So why do you think that is? I have a theory.
maybe I'm not really giving it as much of a chance yet because we didn't purchase the Guardians of the Galaxy 1 soundtrack till after the movie. So I already had fondness over certain songs to certain sequences, right? But I purchased Guardians of the Galaxy 2 before the movie came out. Well, no, because when I saw that it in February, the music wasn't overlaid that much yet. So
bragger.
So I didn't know. I don't know how to put it. Like, I was listening to the music, but I don't have a correlation yet
to the movie.
So, and we've seen Guardians 1 so many times that
so I
kind of know exactly which each sequence is. So it might grow on me,
after we go see it another 10 times.
Yeah, it might grow on me,
which we should do tonight.
You just want to get those the 3D glasses.
The 4D glasses, yeah. So my theory as to why the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack isn't clicking as much for me, there's a lot of songs I don't recognize on the soundtrack, but I feel like in the first movie, it was more fluid. Like, the soundtrack just kind of happened in the background. In the second one, they almost make it a point of showing Peter Quill hit play on his Walkman every time they played a song. There was very few songs that were fluid, where he's just listening to it, and he puts it like on Gamora's head, and you hear it get a little louder. Like, almost every time, he's leaning back and pressing play, and then you hear the soundtrack start.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, granted, for Guardians of the Galaxy 2, there's a lot more commercialization than Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Right, because for the second one, they knew what they had on their hands compared to the first one.
I mean, just like that Doritos bag.
With the microchip?
With the microchip, and I mean that the whole soundtrack plays off of the Doritos bag, and it comes with old school like headphones in it. I mean, it was only made by Doritos. It was only online on Amazon for one day, and now it's completely sold out, and you can buy it on eBay for $300.
Why didn't we get it and sell it on eBay for $300?
Because we didn't. There was a lot of commercialization for Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and you can totally see it in the movie come out too, with the Groot thing.
Yes.
With the the upsell of his cassette Walkman player, because you can buy that now.
Spoiler alert. You know what we should be buying right now on eBay?
What?
Zunes.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's gonna be the next thing.
Thing about it is, I kind of wish I would have thought about that after I saw the movie.
The original one?
In February, because I could have bought the whole Zune market.
Yeah. And then we could have cornered that market and just sold Zunes on eBay and made a living.
I know. Oh, well.
And we could have put 300 songs on it.
It was probably somewhere in my NDA that I couldn't do it. So. Is there anything else that you feel about Guardians?
Overall, I like the movie. The send-off for Yondu was emotional, even though I didn't really tear up, unlike some people.
Yeah.
The movie was good. I mean, on the way home, I did complain about a few things. Oh, the other thing I was going to talk about.
All the way home.
Yeah, I know. I'm passionate. I have opinions. What I was saying earlier before we got cut off, that the first movie had a lot of heart, felt very human, and the second one went very, very galactic. So, like, they gave Peter Quill powers. You know what I mean? He did the powers thing where he summons up a light ball and stuff.
But you knew he was going to have something, because even in the first movie, they said he had something that wasn't.
That was just his genetic makeup. Doesn't mean he can summon up light balls and play catch with his dad. It took away a little of the human part for me, is what I'm saying.
Well, because he's not human.
He's totally human.
No, he's not.
He is.
Well, now he is.
Thank you.
So we'll probably see it again.
Yes, I'd like to.
Yep.
I think if I see it again, I'll complain less.
Really?
Because now I know what to expect. Like, my heart was set in a certain specific way of what I think Guardians of the Galaxy 2 should have been. And now that I've seen it, I know that they've gone a completely different way. I'll just go see it to see it, and then, like, actually enjoy the movie for the movie. Like, the first time I saw it, I had expectations. And that was a little foolish, because Guardians 1 was so well done.
Yeah, I don't think anything is really going to live up to, like, the sleeper movie of the year, Guardians, where everyone was. I mean, don't you remember when you knew Guardians, whatever, but when they were first doing, like, promotion for it and everything, like, people didn't get it, like.
No one knew who they were.
Like a raccoon.
Yeah.
Even a tree guy.
Even a guy at my work talked about, he wouldn't go see it because it looks stupid, because there's a talking raccoon and a talking tree. And I convinced him his name's Mike Washington, just in case he listens to this. And now those were the two favorite characters out of the movie for him. was the stupid raccoon and the stupid talking tree.
Commercially, looking at it from that side, Guardians 1 snuck up on everybody so much that there wasn't really that much product for it.
Right.
So when Guardians 2 came out, it's all about product for Guardians 2, And so you've got cassette tapes and Dorito bags and Funko Pops out of the yin yang, and it's crazy. And when the first movie came out, there was barely any pops for it, and it was the little Groot in a pot that was the best-selling Funko Pop that year.
Speaking of Groot and all that stuff, that was something I thought that they also took away from. They kind of made, when it was baby Groot, and I get it, it's a baby, they made him super kind of annoying. Like, he kept having like little fits.
He's a baby.
I get it, but it took away from kind of his cuteness.
Really? I thought he was cute.
I thought he was annoying because he kept like slapping people, like he would slap Drax for no reason. And then
because he acts like you.
Yeah, I'm annoying. I admit it. Ask anyone. I know I'm annoying. But I also was kind of bummed because in the first movie, Rocket and Groot are like completely inseparable. And in the second movie, I don't feel like they're best friends at all.
No, I definitely...
Like Rocket cried when Groot, quote unquote, died in the first movie.
Yeah, because Groot and Rocket were like, quote unquote, both adults, for the first movie. For the second movie, Rocket's pretty much his dad.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like it because they separate him a lot.
Yeah, and you definitely can tell that the way
that
that
best friend relationship is not there.
Because he's a kid now. It's creepy.
It's not creepy if you're best friends with your parents. What kind of childhood did you have? Oh, the one there where you don't go out and ride your bike.
No, but I meant I guess if you look at the fact that you and Maico are friends, right? And then all of a sudden Maico became a baby again and you had to take care of him and change his diaper and stuff, you'd be a little annoyed at him.
But Groot doesn't have diapers.
I know, but I'm just saying, if
Maico didn't have diapers, I wouldn't be annoyed at him.
I don't know.
I mean, if he's a baby, he should wear diapers, but...
But, what if, you were, 1 week, you were having, Maico, having serious conversations with Maico and work stuff, whatever, and then he becomes, a little...
conversation? All he says is, I am Groot, so he's saying, I am Maico.
But then Maico becomes little... And then
he's lost a lot of weight.
Well, yeah, I know. But, he becomes little. Say, for instance, you had something for him to do at work. You're like, hey, can you update this for me? And all of a sudden, the next week, he's like a little kid, and he can't even use a keyboard yet. Wouldn't you be a little annoyed? You basically have to, help him grow up. He'd still be
my friend.
Well, yeah, but in a different capacity. Because... adult Maico, you don't have to teach him how to use a keyboard. Baby Maico, you do. But also, you can tell in this movie that Groot is it's not just Rocket that's his parent figure, but they all are.
Yeah, because even where Drax puts him on his shoulder and puts him to sleep and stuff.
Oh, that O was because somebody's easy up just flew up. Did you hear that? I made a joke.
That was funny. That was something I felt like was missing, other than Drax and Mantis, was relationships between the Guardians. You get there's this unspoken thing between Star-Lord and Gamora, but they don't really act on it.
I don't think they're supposed to. I think they're going to be like Sam and Diane from Cheers. And remember how they always say that, once the couple gets together, remember he mentions, he's like, then it jumps the shark, and that's what he explained. And then she's like, I don't even know what Cheers is.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying, though. There was no dynamic relationship between anyone except for Drax and Mantis. You don't even
think there was a relationship between Star-Lord and Yandu?
Literally not till the end when he says,
well, it's still in the
he
movie.
Was your father, but I was your dad.
Daddy,
whatever. Mary Poppins, y'all.
Is she cool? I think the next time you see it, you'll like it better, like you said, because you know what you're going into.
Yeah.
And I think it'll grow on you like Napoleon Dynamite.
Well, that took 100 viewings in the background for me to finally like Napoleon Dynamite when I suddenly go to work and I'm going, Gah, you ruined my day.
Well, that jumped the shark a little bit. All right, well, is there anything else you want to say about Guardians?
I am sure there is. I just can't think of it right now.
Really? You're having a tough time?
Yes. What about Iron Fist? What do you think of Iron Fist?
I think it's boring.
Why do you think it's boring?
I think it's slow.
Why?
Because it's slow.
Do you realize, this is, of all the Netflix movies, this is the one that jumps into the guy having his power and showing it the fastest?
I feel that it's slow. No,
You're not answering the why.
I think the first few episodes felt like it could easily be Iron Fist, the Marvel character, or it could be like Gossip Girl or something, or like Arrow. Like, it was like, it just felt
like Arrow.
Well, no, it's just like this rich kid comes back and is trying to take his company back, but doesn't really know anything. And it was very
He's not
like
even trying to take his company back. He's just trying to go into his company and see what's going on. He doesn't even want it back. But,
I don't know.
But the brother and sister assume that's why he's there, is for
right,
like a
for
hostile
sure.
takeover.
I just don't know. I just, out of all of the Netflix series that we watched, even Luke Cage, we got through that. Jessica Jones is still my favorite, and I don't care for Danny Rand.
What?
I don't care for. I mean, I think his character is okay. I don't care for the actor that plays him.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. No. I don't care for his hair.
Why?
Because it's just a hot mess. He needs to do something with it.
People have curly hair. Not everyone has straight, beautiful hair like you.
No, I don't quite care for the actor that plays Danny Rand.
I disagree. I think considering the situation of what Danny Rand has gone through, I think the actor is playing him perfectly. I think he portrays that conflicted, like, I'm kind of like a 15-year-old kid, but I'm an adult at the same time, that he doesn't understand the world because he was
like
raised
Groot.
by Buddhists. Yeah, like Baby Groot.
Not nearly as cute as Baby Groot.
I think he's cuter. He's got very pretty hair.
I don't like the villains in this movie. I mean, the show.
The old lady?
Yeah. No, but
Gal?
not just Gal, but the Hand.
The Hand was the main villain in Daredevil also.
Yeah. I didn't say I like Daredevil as much as Jessica Jones, did I?
Where would you rank Daredevil? Probably second over Luke Cage?
Yes.
So how come Iron Fist isn't 3 and then Luke Cage number 4?
Luke Cage picked up at the end. And maybe we still have, 3 more episodes left?
Yes.
Maybe it'll pick up.
Which we tried to watch last
And
night.
I fell asleep.
Literally almost every minute.
Here's the thing. It's a kind of boring.
Kind of boring? What is that?
It's kind of boring, and therefore I fall asleep when I watch it.
Or you
Or-
just lazy.
Or like when I watched Wolverine.
Wolverine was a bad movie, though.
But
How come you never fall asleep when you watch Deadpool?
I like Deadpool
I know. I said, why don't you ever fall asleep when you watch Deadpool, though?
because I like it.
Why do you like it?
Because he's funny.
Why is he funny?
Because he's funny.
Is it because the actor is funny?
Yeah, I like Ryan Reynolds.
A lot.
Yeah. I don't like Danny Rand.
So if Ryan Reynolds was playing Iron Fist, do you think you'd stay up for it?
I think he would make a funnier Danny Rand. I know you want to finish it.
Yes. I was hoping to finish it before we talk today so that we can actually talk about it from start to finish.
So is there anything else that you're looking forward to?
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
The trailer that we saw for Wonder Woman looks amazing. It's
I'm
like
really,
the one DC movie.
really hoping for DC's sake.
Yeah. It's the one movie that actually looked like they could be doing it right.
Are you excited for Justice League?
No.
Okay.
I want to be, but after seeing Batman versus Superman, I don't have faith that Justice League will be any good.
I like Iron Fist better than Batman versus Superman.
Yes. I am looking forward towards Thor.
Thor Ragnarok.
Yes. Have you already seen that?
I can't confirm or deny. No, I haven't. I have not seen Thor Ragnarok yet. I'm hoping that it'll be a good movie.
I think it will be. It looks like they're going to go for the more comedy feel versus the other 2 previous Thor movies.
Are you looking forward to the new Star Wars movie?
Episode 8? Yeah. The all the Star Wars movies have been really good. I know everyone complains about Episode 7 as just a reboot of Episode 4, but I thought it was needed to recapture the Star Wars feeling. Rogue Squadron was mind-blowingly good.
Rogue One.
What did I say? Rogue
Squadron.
Yeah, that's the video game. I'm talking about the game. What are you talking about? Are you talking about the movie? I enjoyed the fact that, spoiler if you haven't already seen it, you should have already seen it by now, that everyone dies. That was actually kind of cool that the heroes win, but at a consequence.
So it's really funny. On a side note for that is obviously none of the Rogue One stuff really did super well, like merchandise.
Really? Not even the pop?
Yeah, the pop, but I mean, like, just in general. But because I think no one really kind of, not no one, but like when you simply think it through, like, who's gonna leave a movie where you're like completely devastated that everyone dies, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go get a play set of that. It just didn't do as well as it should have. But
well, I think part of that is that it's hard to, like, why invest in something where you know the characters are dead? They're not going to be in another movie.
Right.
This is all you're going to see them in. So in terms of merchandising, it's a hard sell.
For sure.
See, I should be in merchandising. I got ideas.
I'm trying to think of anything else we have to talk about.
Well, we're so far behind on all of our shows, like Flash, Supergirl. We're like, I don't know, 15 behind.
We're all caught up on Southern Charm. What else am I caught up on? Below Deck Mediterranean.
All great shows, I'm sure.
The podcast sounds a lot different when it's you and I than you and Maico. The Challenge we've watched.
So that's the thing. So we try to watch Iron Fist at 8 o'clock at night, and you fall asleep. But then you'll stay up and watch The Challenge till like 11 o'clock. You cannot tell me those people are more interesting than the show.
I'm just saying I'm a little more vested in CT winning the money than Danny Rand. I wonder if people are actually going to like this podcast.
They will. I'm on it. I guess they might like it for you, too. We have to have you on here, so I'm not just talking about me. I'm back here at SoCal Comics, Free Comic Book Day. It's been kind of cloudy, kind of rainy. The killer here has been the wind so far. A few people have had tents being blown over. So everyone's still here, though. There's still a line. It's not as big as it was. It's now been an hour and a half since the event has started. I can see the end, but it's still going. And that is Jamie in the background yelling, screaming for someone. We'll be back if anyone comes along or if we find someone to talk to. Everyone's pretty busy. I've met a few extra people. I just met with Matt Hawkins, who works over at Top Cow. He's giving me his contact information, so he is someone who I hope to have on the podcast. Probably not today. He's busy over at his booth, but sometime in the future, perhaps schedule a time to do a interview with him online. So that's really cool. Chad Kavanaugh, my bro here, is promoting Dead Oro Live along with all his other comics. He's currently pretty busy with people at his booth. Richard Friend is also here. He's been really busy. People are buying prints left and right from him. So it's been overall pretty busy Free Comic Book Day. The Sci-Fi Coalition is here. It's really cool. They've done some cool stuff. Colleen of Wingline Creations is over there next to them. She is currently cosplaying Dr. Harley Quinzel, as well as also selling at her own booth. Here we are at San Diego Free Comic Book Day at Southern California Comics. Sitting next to me is
Adrian Alvarez.
All right. So how's Free Comic Book Day going for you?
Good. It's just the rain.
That rain, huh?
Yeah.
Did you pick up anything while you were here?
Yeah.
What do we got?
Secret Empire.
Secret Empire. You a big Marvel fan?
Yeah.
Have you seen any of the Marvel movies? Hold it close.
Well, I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, the first or the second one?
First.
What did you think of the first one?
It was good.
All right, who was your favorite character in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie? If you had to pick one character only.
Star-Lord.
Star-Lord, really? It wasn't Rocket or Groot?
No.
What did you like about Star-Lord so much?
Because it's like I like his ship, like cut.
The Murano?
Yeah.
He's got a cool ship. He was pretty funny too, huh?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, do you watch any of the superhero shows on TV, like The Flash or Arrow?
No, not most.
Not that much?
No.
All right, what about cartoons? What superhero cartoons have you watched? Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Any of that?
No.
All
No, I'm
right.
not a big fan of that.
Why? What don't you like about 4 turtles that live in a sewer?
I just don't like it.
All right, what do you like?
Teen Titans.
Teen Titans. So is it Teen Titans Go?
Yeah.
What do you like about Teen Titans Go?
Not no.
All right, who's your favorite character in Teen Titans Go?
Robin.
Robin. Why do you like Robin so much?
Just some reason that he's funny.
You think he's funny? Is it because he's a leader also? He's kind of cool, right?
Yeah, but he's trying to. He's trying to be leader.
He's trying to be the leader?
Yeah.
Who do you think is like the real leader of Teen Titans Go?
I don't know. I don't know who. I don't know who could be a real leader.
But it's definitely not Robin.
No.
All right. So, what other shows or movies have you watched lately?
Well, I've seen Batman versus Superman.
What did you think of that?
It was good. Just some of the effects I didn't really like.
Like which ones?
I don't like how they did the fire, because it was like the fire looked really fake. It looked like some of the effects look real fake.
They did, huh?
Yeah.
Did you think the story was a little weird in Batman versus Superman?
Yeah. It's just two heroes fighting each other.
Yeah, wasn't it kind of weird that when they were fighting the main bad guy at the end, Superman left to go save Lois Lane?
Yeah.
He was the only one who could damage the bad guy.
Yeah.
And he left. He left Batman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah. And
It's weird. Why would Superman do that?
I don't know.
So what else do you want to talk about?
That's it.
That was it? That's a quick interview.
Yeah.
You got nothing else?
No.
All right. All right, now here we are with...
Christina.
All right. How has Free Comic Book Day been for you?
It was really good. I liked looking at all the comics and the drawings.
Very cool. There's a lot of cool artists here that sit next to me. Did you see one of the Wonder Woman pictures that they have?
No, I didn't look over there.
Oh, you should check it out and tell your mom to buy it for you. It's like $10. It's worth it, and he'll sign it. There's a cool Wonder Woman. So, all right, what movies have you seen lately that is superhero related?
I watched the Avengers movies.
Okay.
Some of the Iron Man and Captain America movies, Civil War and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Cool. Which one would you say is your favorite?
I like Civil War the most. Probably.
Really, over Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah.
Even though Guardians of the Galaxy has a cute raccoon and a cute little talking tree?
Kind of half and half.
Half and half. All right. So what did you like about Civil War the most?
I liked that there was a lot of characters in it. There was a lot of new characters.
There was a lot of characters. And they did a good job, showing all of them, right? You know, It wasn't just Captain America and Iron Man, but they showed everyone. Everyone got a moment.
Yeah.
And it was funny, too, huh?
Mm-hmm.
It was really funny. And then what about Guardians of the Galaxy? What do you like about Guardians of the Galaxy?
I like that it's a superhero movie, but it's space-themed.
Space, yep. That is so cool. Who's your favorite character in Guardians of the Galaxy? If you had to pick one.
I like Groot or Gamora, probably.
Groot or Gamora?
Mm-hmm.
They were both awesome. Groot's super funny, and then Gamora was super awesome, right? She's a good, tough chick. What about comics? Do you read any comics?
Sometimes. I like reading, Marvel comics, mostly.
Okay. What about TV shows? Do you watch any of the TV shows like Flash or Arrow or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or anything like that?
I don't really watch any of the TV shows, but I do like the original Teen Titans. I don't like Teen Titans Go.
Oh, see, you're like me. I like the original Teen Titans better, too. So what did you like about the original Teen Titans?
I like the drawings. Because I think the drawings are better.
Yes, I agree.
And they look more realistic.
Yes, I absolutely agree.
There's also more action in it.
Yes.
Because Teen Titans Go, it's mostly jokes and stuff.
Yeah, it's a little more funny
Uh-huh.
than more action story. What else do you want to talk about?
My favorite superhero is Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch. Is that from the Avengers movies?
Yeah, she's in Age of Ultron and Civil War.
Yes, she was awesome.
I like her powers. It's cool.
The kind of be able to change reality in a way and do the weird things that she does. That is a cool power. Who's your favorite guy superhero, if you had to pick one?
I like Hawkeye.
Hawkeye?
That's pretty cool.
That's totally different than Scarlet Witch. You have Scarlet Witch, you can do anything, but then Hawkeye, he's just centered on his bow and arrows.
Yeah.
What is it about Hawkeye that you like so much?
He's got different kinds of arrows. He's got exploding arrows, electrocuting arrows.
Yes.
Different things.
Yes. Everyone just thinks of him as a bow and arrow kind of guy, but he has all his trick shots too. That makes him really, really cool. And what I like about Hawkeye is he's just a normal person. He has no special powers, but he's out there fighting next to like Scarlet Witch and Thor, who's a thunder god, and Iron Man, who's in this big iron army. He's just a dude with bows and arrows shooting like little trick arrows. He's out there risking his life more than anyone else, right? Because he doesn't have protection.
It's kind of like Robin.
Yes. Yeah.
Because he doesn't have any powers.
Any powers, and he's just out there just using his skill to try to make a difference.
Uh-huh.
That's really, really cool. What else you got? You got anything else you want to talk about?
I ran out of stuff.
Okay. Cool. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
All right. Bye. Hey, so we're back right now here at Free Comic Book Day at Southern California Comics, and with me I have
Dexter O'Donnell.
All right, Dexter. So what brought you to Free Comic Book Day?
Well, besides the free comics,
Free comics, of course. Who doesn't want free comics?
that and also just to visit with some of the friends here that are vending or appearing here at the gathering.
Okay, I believe we spoke with you about 2 years ago here.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. So, what did you pick up so far here at Free Comic Book Day?
Just did a lot. Basically, I'm doing like Christmas shopping because they also have like great sales on inexpensive graphic novels.
Yes.
So I'm doing that.
Jamie's got a bunch of cool sales going on.
So I buy them by the pound, and then I picked up a handful of free books like. I'm following Riverdale, so I picked up the Riverdale book.
Cool.
I picked up some other stuff for other friends of mine to get them enticed in getting comics, like Betty and Veronica, that kind of stuff.
Cool. So I have to ask, speaking of Riverdale, is
Yes.
that actually related to there's a TV show called Riverdale?
Correct.
Is it based off the same thing?
From what it looks like on the cover, it looks like they're using the TV show logo, so I'm imagining that they probably
So it is
are.
the same, right? So I'm
Yeah.
not imagining things. I totally thought it was the same thing. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. And so, what other books do you normally collect other than what you've gotten today at Free Comic Book Day?
Well, I like to support the non-Big Two companies.
Okay.
So, I mean, I do grab, if I grab anything from Marvel, it's going to be Star Wars related. And if it's DC, it's usually related to the CW shows.
Okay.
But for the most part, I'll get stuff. I'm a huge supporter of, IDW.
Okay, good stuff.
And I'm also a supporter of Titan, who incidentally is doing the new Robotech comic book also.
Oh, okay. What a great segue. So, what do you know about Robotech?
Well, I can tell you that my connection to Robotech runs pretty deep. I did work with Carl Masick briefly during the early days of Robotech.
Okay.
And I did do some stuff. I was their original fan liaison, so I answered a lot of fan mail and stuff from the original run of Robotech.
That's amazing.
I did a documentary while I was in college about how they translated it from Japanese to English, and that's how I got connected with them. But since that time, and since Carl's passing 7 years ago, I'm more connected to the Robotech fandom through Robotech X.
Okay.
And that's the official Robotech fan group on social media.
Okay.
And I have, direct relationships with people who work at Harmony Gold, such as Tommy Yoon, who's the current executive producer of Robotech.
Cool. So, do you have any Robotech news that you can share?
Well, let's start with the comic book because it's Free Comic Book Day. The new book's coming out from Titan within the next 3 months, and it's going to be a familiar version of Robotech with some twists. So it's not going to be the original Carl Masick version.
Okay.
But given that it's Robotech, it's going to stay true to the storyline.
Right.
They're just adding a few things, enhancing a few things, as it were. It's not a reboot. It's more along the lines of filling in the blanks.
Cool.
So if you look at the J.J. Abrams version of Star Trek, it's similar but different.
Okay.
So the J.J. Abrams version of Star Trek keeps the Star Trek characters. They just tweak some of the
storyline
relationships and stuff and that kind of thing in the story. With Robotech, it's not to that extreme. It's still the true Robotech with Rick Hunter, Roy Fokker, Lin-Min May.
Right.
But it's being pulled forward because of the live-action movie that's going to be in production soon.
Very cool. So we're going to be seeing a live-action Robotech?
Correct. Sony Pictures is the studio that's doing the Robotech movie, and they've already hired the producers from the 300 franchise.
Oh, no way.
And the screenwriter of the 300 movies is currently developing the screen story. And they've hired the director James Wan from the Insidious movies and Fast and Furious 7 to be the director. He's currently working on Aquaman, so once he's done with that, he's hardcore into Robotech.
Nice. I can see happening.
Yeah.
That is a good mixture. Picking up the guys who did 300 to do Robotech. You know what I mean?
Very much so. And they're
action.
very much into it. They're treating this as a long-term franchise. So they want to make this like
possibly like a trilogy or more.
Or, no, they're envisioning much bigger. They have a much bolder plan, and it's going to be much akin to like Star Trek or Star Wars or James Bond.
Right.
But instead of the Force or the Federation, it's going to be with the transforming mecha.
Right. Oh, that is awesome. That sounds like good stuff coming, man.
Yeah, very much so. And having spoken with the screenwriter for the Robotech first Robotech film, at the very least, his vision is to do the series as a trilogy of trilogies. So instead of just 3 movies covering the original 3 chapters of Robotech, he wants to do a trilogy for each one.
Oh. See that's a little worrisome because they kind of did that with The Hobbit, right? They took one book and broke it up into 3.
Yes.
And I don't think that worked.
Well,
so they tried to pull too much into it.
Well, Robotech is 85 episodes. The original series is 85 episodes. You include Shadow Chronicles, that's 86. If you include Love Live Alive, that's 87. If you include Robotech the Untold Story, that's 88. So there's like over 88 stories that can be told within the Robotech universe, and there are more also.
Right.
So to do a trilogy of trilogies is actually better than to do to compact everything into each chapter into one movie.
I see what you're saying. So they're going to basically take sort of like possibly, we'll just use that example of 88 and break those into 3 separate chapters.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying there.
Yeah, so that way there's more character details.
Right.
It's not rushed,
Yeah.
But again, that's the plan,
Who knows
that we know of.
Yeah.
I mean, that could change. We don't know.
That is really cool. I could definitely go for seeing a Robotech live action.
Yeah, and a lot of people, there's, with Pacific Rim 2 on the horizon.
Oh, yeah. We've already
you know,
got, quote-unquote, the imitation Robotech out there in
Yeah.
movies doing well.
Well, Pacific Rim's more akin to Gundam than it is to...
It always reminds me of Mech Warrior, too.
Yeah, Mech Warrior, which was riffing Robotech, actually.
Yeah.
But, Robotech was originally 3 different TV series that
Right.
Carl Masick was able to look at and compact into 3 separate, to make an overarching story of 3 Robotech wars,
Right.
3 generations of Robotech warriors, and he compacted it into 85 episodes.
Yeah.
And his long-term goal was to continue that story, and he attempted to do that with Sentinels, but then things being the way they were not able to produce a
Right.
complete series for that. So that's when Shadow Chronicles, about 10 years ago, the first Shadow Chronicles movie was the first step into extending the Robotech universe.
Advancing it. I've never seen the Shadow Chronicles at all.
And this leads me into the next part.
Perfect.
Robotech is on multiple streaming platforms.
Okay.
It's currently on Sony's platform, Crackle, and that's the complete Robotech saga with the TV series Shadow Chronicles. The only thing that's missing is the complete version of the Untold Story, because the rights for that are part of it or to another production company. But there's a part of it that Harmony Gold has the rights to, so they include that in the package. I believe they also have a version of the Sentinels movie that they include in there. But so that's Crackle, the Sony one.
Right.
It's on Netflix, but it's the original 85 episodes, and they're currently waiting on Netflix to ask them to allow them to put more material in.
So Netflix only has the first 5?
No, Netflix has the original 85 episodes.
85. Okay.
Yeah. And it's the remastered version. It's the one with the enhanced sound,
Right.
sound and the cleaner picture than the original broadcast version.
That's very cool. I'll have to check that out on Netflix, man.
Yeah.
It's been I don't even know how long since I've watched Robotech.
Yeah,
like the original.
A lot of people are rediscovering it right now because of the different streaming services that are offering it right now.
And I'm sure the comic is helping as well.
Yeah, the comic
so
will
it's,
be.
it's putting it back
and
in people's minds.
Very much so. And I think the big thing about the new comic book by Titan that's going to be coming out, there are two things. Number one, they're doing it the way they're doing it with regards to slightly revising the story and everything because of the new movie.
Right.
And they want to get a new audience to join in with the original audience.
The original.
You know, so it doesn't become this like exclusive club.
Right.
It's
not a niche.
Yeah. The second thing about the new comic is, and this is the biggest news, the writer of the comic series of Robotech is none other than Brian Wood.
Oh, okay.
So they're hoping to have a big name comic author connected to Robotech is going to draw his audience into it as well. So, and if people have read his stuff like DMZ, which is a war saga, which Robotech essentially is,
right?
It's in his wheelhouse.
Yeah,
you know, and you know, a lot of chatter now on social media is people are really curious. They're wanting to check it out.
Yeah,
so that's a good thing. And it was just in the most recent previews catalog that came out also.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So
nice.
you know, if your audience gets a chance to check that on previews. If they're fans of anime and they should get it. If they're fans of giant robots, they should get it. If they're fans of Brian Woods, they should get it.
Yeah.
And of course, if they're the old school fans like myself, then it's a definite keeper because it's not recycling like the original Comico series.
Right.
The Robotech stories.
Yeah, that sounds cool, man.
So
it sounds like they've really thought it through, right? They've picked a writer of the comic who's known for war stories to do Robotech, which Robotech is war stories. They've picked like the guy for 300 and Fast and Furious, which is good for like the action and that type of stuff. And that's what you expect in Robotech. Robotech is massive amounts of action. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there is, but it's also, as Carl used to say it, there's a very strong human story.
Yes, I agree.
The how an interstellar conflict affects different people.
Yep.
What made Robotech unique was that there was a lot of real like
human
emotion in
the
human
emotion.
story.
Yeah, I know.
People. They
caring
they laugh, they cry. There's anger. There's a lot. People live, people die.
Yep.
And it's not just like in Star Trek, it's not the dude in the red shirt that you just met 5 seconds ago dying. It's actual characters that you really have put a lot of investment into emotionally that go. And for people who haven't seen the series, I'm not going to spoil it. But
even though it's like, I don't know what, 15, 16, 17, 20 years old.
Oh no, Robotech is like Robotech 1985, so it's over 30 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I can tell you that a new audience is going to it's going to come as like a shocker. Because, and that's the best part. The new fans and the old fans can basically console one another.
Yes.
When they go, holy moly, my favorite character is gone.
Yeah.
What? Oh, they're coming back, right?
Yeah. No, this isn't Marvel.
No, this isn't G.I. Joe the movie where Duke is mortally wounded, and then they say on the off screen, he's in a coma.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, off screen, and Duke's alive. He's come out of his coma.
Yeah.
No, when John Doe. That's not a name of a character,
right? Obviously,
when John Doe
so creative
is killed in battle, say that's it.
That's it. He's not
done.
coming back. Yeah,
and every one of the Robotech chapters, there are people that whether it's one episode or a bunch of episodes, you invest your emotions into going, oh, this person's cool or that person's great, and then poof, you never know.
Yeah,
and that's what made that for me. That's what made Carl Masick the genius that he was. He didn't edit those out from the original Japanese source material. He kept it true.
Yeah.
Because he had a lot of battles with standards and practices from different TV stations saying, no, you can't have
this main character
person die, or you can't have this person, get shot. the kids are watching this series, this cartoons. They're not going to understand it. It's going to traumatize them.
Yeah.
And Carl's response was, this may be a cartoon to you, but it's animation to me, and it's animation to the people watching this, and it's drama, and it's real. And if something happens, we want to make sure that
there's consequence.
It's legit, and it's not fake, and that it's like life. It's unpredictable,
right?
And it's unexpected.
Yeah.
And Carl was ahead of his time, and you see that. You see a lot of the new anime that's been coming out since Robotech.
Right.
It's because Carl had the wherewithal to stand up and say, this is how they have it overseas originally. This is how they have it in other countries. We should have it this way here in the U.S.
In the U.S., yep, I agree.
So Carl was a pioneer, and a lot of people have spoken about him, whether when he was alive or since his passing, that they've disparaged him. But whether you like him or not, whether you agree with him or not, Carl made anime not just a little thing that
it's not a cute thing.
Well, he didn't make it. He made it so that it wasn't a niche hobby anymore.
Yeah.
Where you met up with like a handful of your friends and watched it at like a friend's house on an old VCR with no subtitles or no English dialogue or whatever. And you had to try to, you had to hope that somebody in the group spoke Japanese could translate it. But he made it so that it was like mainstream, to where not only could it be subtitled, but it was dubbed, and then it was broadcast on places like, Cartoon Network, Sci-Fi Channel, Disney Channel, Disney XD, and made it much more broader
audience.
People, he did it once with Robotech. He did it again with Akira.
Okay, yeah, yes.
So Carl didn't let lightning strike in a bottle once, but twice.
Yeah.
And he was involved in, all of the stuff that's, connected to Robotech story-wise. His fingerprints are all over it, even though he's not with us anymore. Because his widow, Svea Masik, has, archived his notes.
Right.
And have allowed Harmony Gold and Tommy Yoon, who's, like I said, is the executive producer of Robotech now, access to his notes so that they can extend the story in the way that would be true to him, to Carl's vision. Not like how Star Trek is, where Roddenberry,
Gene Roddenberry would.
Yeah, he only did Next Generation, and everything else has been has been Paramount.
Yeah, and everything sort of felt like Gene Roddenberry before, but the last couple of Star Treks with what's his name don't feel like they would. They're cool movies, but they don't have that Star Trek vibe to them.
And I think that's why the series kind of exhausted itself on television.
Yeah,
because Roddenberry's influence and his optimism and his hopefulness for Star Trek, started decreasing significantly with each passing Star Trek series.
Yeah.
With Robotech, we're hopeful that that's not going to happen.
Right. Especially if they're given the access to his notes, right? So they're seeing where he was going, and they can plan that story sort of around that.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of it. Even with Shadow Chronicles, for example. Shadow Chronicles, a lot of people criticized it. A lot of the hardcore old school fans criticized it because it relied too much on having to rehash the last 2 episodes of the original series, and then there's very little original story.
Right.
But what they don't realize is just how much the creators of that movie went into the notes of Carl Masik,
like the source material.
Yeah, and basically took what his intentions were for Sentinels and infused that in Shadow Chronicles.
That's cool.
So that's what made making a lot of fans going, we want more.
Yeah,
because there was Shadow Rising was the title of the next Robotech movie, animated movie, but with all these different live action incarnations, whether it started at Warner Brothers or the current version at Sony,
right?
That's kind of they're not sure where they're going to go with it,
right?
The agreement with Sony, as I understand it, is they're given a green light for all Robotech animation, but they do want to be made aware of what the storylines are and what characters are going to be utilized, so that it doesn't conflict with what they're doing with the live action movie.
That's a cool thing to do, right? So that everything sort of stays true to itself.
Yes.
So you don't have any conflicts between. Well, this is what happened in the animated movie. Why is the live action so different?
Exactly. And what's great with the Harmony Gold's relationship with Sony versus the relationship they had with the previous rights holders for live action Robotech is Sony gets it. They understand that this is a franchise that has 30 years of history amongst its fans.
Yes.
And whether it be merchandise, whether it be gaming, whether it be
cartoons,
a live action movie, an animated feature, whatever,
Yeah.
Sony gets it. And so they want Harmony Gold to really, get out there and not just satisfy the fans, but motivate them to continue to support the franchise. And at the same time, encourage new fans to join along so that when the live action movie comes out, it won't be like how with something like a Battlestar Galactica,
right,
where there's the classic fans like myself from the original Richard Hatch TV series versus the Ronald Moore series.
Yeah.
Which I'm
I
not
just
a
call it the
supporter
Cylon
of.
series.
It's a completely different thing. Robotech is going to be Robotech, and Sony wants old fans and new fans to be happy.
Yeah. That's going to be cool, man.
And that's going to, I'm looking forward to it. Harmony Gold has has quite a few plans for Robotech. They did hit a speed bump, I won't lie. When they went and did a couple years ago, they did a Kickstarter, made an attempt to do a Kickstarter campaign for a TV series that Carl had been working on before he passed away called Robotech Academy.
Okay.
And that was supposed to be a bridge series between the original Robotech series and Shadow Chronicles, where it's about the newest generation of Robotech cadets.
Right.
It was very controversial in the sense of there were a lot of fans who were going, "Why are you making us pay for it?"
Right.
And there were like other people criticizing because they're saying, "Well, look, it's the original production company must have tons and tons of money and all this, so they should do it on their own." The reality is, and this is something that, as a fan, personally, having asked questions amongst the people that are connected, I honestly believe that it wasn't that they were trying to get money to produce the show from the fans, but they wanted fan participation. They wanted the fans to go, okay, not only have I invested in Robotech emotionally, but I have a little bit of a financial investment.
Right.
And so therefore, they will be more apt to support a new Robotech TV series.
Right.
And show, like if they would have taken the pilot, which they're trying to produce, and gone to like a network and said, look, we have, or a streaming service or a video company, home video releasing company, and go, our fans helped pay for production of this, helped pay for, not they paid for this,
right?
But helped pay for it because they were asking for like some amount, like several $100,000, something like I think it was like 100,000 or 150. I don't remember the exact amount. But if you know anything about production of animation, that's not nearly enough to do a 30-minute pilot.
No,
that's not. I mean, you're talking about $1 million per episode for a 30-minute for a pilot, for an animated series minimum, And for me as a fan, I looked at that and I went, okay, if we're invested in it, that means that whatever other entity they take it to, they're going to take it seriously, and they're going to go, oh, there's a built-in audience for this now.
Yeah.
To me,
it's a way to gauge interest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then from there, they know that this core audience is going to work their collective backsides off to, try to draw new fans in.
Yeah.
So that this show can get on the air, continue to be on the air, and continue to expand on the franchise that they love so much. Unfortunately, like I said, it was done the way it was done was controversial. The way that things were explained weren't very clear. And so that's why the campaign fell short.
Right.
I don't want to say it failed, but it did fall short.
Right.
And as sad as that is, it was a learning lesson for everybody involved. So, not to bore people with the speed bumps of
the
Robotech
finer
production,
details,
but it. I mean, not every franchise is perfect.
No.
Star Trek had huge speed bumps. That as the hard Trek fans know, and for myself, having done the research because of what happened with Robotech, there was a second Star Trek TV series that was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Because of what happened, Star Wars was huge, so they wanted to do a TV series, and the everything for that went sideways for various different reasons.
Yeah.
Robotech had the same thing with Academy.
Yeah. Yep.
So every big franchise has its little speed bumps. Star Wars had its own speed bumps also.
Yeah.
So.
Episodes 1, 2, and 3. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's not perfect. You know what I mean? So I look at from as a fan standpoint. As long as they get it right, I'm happy.
Yeah.
They're not doing it. It definitely shows that they have a genuine emotional investment.
Right.
Not just financial. They want to make money, but they want to they want to put out the highest possible quality production out there.
Yeah.
And that's having, like I said, had my time at Harmony Gold and had access and worked on other projects that were non-Robotech related,
right?
Like a miniseries that they did called Around the World in 80 Days with Pierce Brosnan. I can tell you that Harmony Gold gets it. It's just that they don't want they're not like a DreamWorks,
right?
Or
they don't have endless pockets.
No, they just don't go out there and do the shotgun approach and hope something sticks.
Yeah.
They'll do 10 shows and hope that 1 or 2 stick. That's not how Harmony Gold is.
Yeah.
Harmony Gold, I akin to right now, is more like what Greg Berlanti's doing. He does one show at a time.
Yeah.
He does it well.
Yeah. He puts everything into it.
Then he does the next one.
Yeah.
And the next one. And I mean, if you look, like, who would have thought 6 years ago the Green Arrow would be the cornerstone for a whole universe
of shows that would
TV
come on
shows
CW.
On the CW.
Green Arrow.
And I'm including Constantine.
Yep.
And Supergirl.
Yeah.
Which started on 2 different networks that weren't the CW.
Yeah.
Berlanti had his hand in all of that. So much so that now, there's the new Black Lightning TV series, which is being done by, granted, a different production company, but it's a CW show that they're going to fold into what they're calling the Arrowverse.
Yeah.
Which technically should be the DC TVU.
Yeah.
The DC TV universe.
TVU.
So, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, who would have thought that? It's all because of one group of people, Greg Berlanti, Mark Guggenheim, and Andrew Kreitzberg, got together and said, what makes comic books great? And how can we make good TV shows based on that?
Yep.
Kevin Feige, same thing with the Marvel movies. What makes Marvel comics great? How can we make them how can we make those movies?
Make them like perfect movies.
Harmony Gold's doing that with Robotech.
Yep.
How can we take our show and get it out there to a bigger audience and make it so that they want to stay, that that it's good,
that they get invested in emotionally. Yeah.
And that's the smart, successful Hollywood companies are doing that.
Yep.
Another great example is Voltron.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There was right after Pacific Rim came out, there were a few alleged quote unquote promotional images that were leaked out about a Voltron movie.
Yep.
A CG Voltron movie, and then they disappeared very shortly after.
Yeah.
Why? Because they got slammed by the fans.
Yeah.
And then look at within the last 2 years, what happened? DreamWorks, went, hey, Voltron's a classic franchise. What if we did this as an animated series?
Yep.
And instead of broadcast, they put it on Netflix.
Yep.
And now it's like one of the biggest animated series, not just on streaming, but that's out there. Period.
Yep.
You know why? Because they wanted quality. They wanted to control the quality of the product.
Yep.
Harmony Gold has been watching that and learning from it.
Yeah.
That's what they. If you think, like I said, Robotech's going to be great. They went and, they put all their eggs in the right place.
Yep.
Lined up their ducks and they're ready to go. James Wan, great director. Started in indie films and now is doing big budget Hollywood movies.
Yep.
And he was one of us, just like the screenwriter of 300, who's writing the screenplays for Robotech. They were like us. They were running home after school to see the TV
Run
show.
and watch the show.
They learned how to program their VCRs so that they wouldn't miss a TV show, or they could go back and rewatch it on the weekends.
Yeah.
They get it. They understand it. It's not like the initial movies that Michael Bay did for Transformers.
Oh, that's
Don't
get me started.
Michael Bay just basically took giant robots and made it with bigger explosions.
Yep.
Although I will say this, the new Transformers movie last night looks like it has potential.
Someone else I was just talking to said the same thing.
Yeah,
and I didn't see it.
I saw the trailer at the head of Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's where I saw it
and
too.
It actually enlightened more of the story about why things are the way they are. They can only do so much in 2.5 minutes without giving away the whole movie, but it makes sense. And I think I'm hopeful that this will not necessarily repair all the mistakes, but it will basically just progress the story further and to a better place.
I don't know. He's burned me 3 times now.
4.
4. There we go. 4. And I don't know. I don't have the faith after being tricked the first time. The other 3 times I was just stupid. I don't know. I saw the trailer and I was like, yeah, it looks cool, but somehow you're going to mess it up. I saw the trailer for Phantom Menace when it first came out, and I was like, that looks incredible. And I walked out going, what did I just watch?
Right.
And that's exactly what I think is going to happen with that Transformers movie. I was like, it looks good, but you're not going to trick me this time. I'm going to wait till other people go see it.
Having studied film at school, in college, I can tell you I understand why the studio system is the way it is.
Right.
And how things are executed there, and what they do and do not understand.
Fans.
With this, because with Transformers, this is why I'm optimistic. The people who are responsible for the Transformers movies,
right?
They finally realized, from the backlash of the fans of Transformers fandom,
over 4 movies.
Yeah, they're a little thick, but it also took 2 G.I. Joe movies.
But
the final nail in the coffin, as it were, was the Gem movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Because they're all from the shared, line of Hasbro toys, right?
Yep.
From the 80s. What they have done is created what's called a Hasbroverse.
Yeah.
And that's all been initiated by the comic book company here in San Diego called IDW.
Yep.
And IDW has formed, along with Hasbro and along with all the different production companies that have the different rights holders, create a Hasbroverse.
Yep.
So that the Transformers interact with G.I. Joe, and
ROM
and Mask. And whatever ones they're going to add to it later. They're going to be doing that because of what happened with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU. They get it, and they're going, okay, you know what?
It can work.
We're going to put them together. So the idea of a G.I. Joe Transformers movie coming out isn't as far-fetched as it once was.
Right.
But I believe that because they're doing this Hasbroverse line, not just with the comics, they've always done it with the toys, but not just with the comics, but now with the movies, I am optimistic because I think that they see this now as a new stepping stone with last night to do that.
See, for me, I think they would have to reboot Transformers. You know what I mean? Disregard all the other movies and start fresh. Yeah. If we're going to tie it into G.I. Joe and make a Hasbro universe.
Right. And I think with last night, I think this is basically they're putting the cap on this version of the Transformers.
You think that's what it is that we're...
so that they can...
This is the Logan of Transformers?
Very much so, I think.
Got it.
And, I mean, I'll put it to you this way. In the very first trailer that they released for last night, the one thing that struck me was there's a brief 10-second scene between Mark Wahlberg and Josh Duhamel, who was in the first 2 Transformers films. He was the leader of the Nest team,
right?
Which is basically a Transformers movie universe version of G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe, yep.
And they had a 10-second scene together. That had never happened before.
Yeah.
They completely disavowed Nest in the third and fourth movies. And for me to see that they're gone back to that original concept of having having a military group in the film, in that last film, in this next film, and having the original actors from the surviving actors from those films in there to make up the Nest team, to me, shows that they're trying to make amends. That they're trying they're trying to fix things, at least, in a way that, they may not. It may be irreparable with this version of Transformers.
Yeah.
But at least they want to go, okay, look, we get it. So that when
Let's
we do
at
the
least
next
wrap up
version,
a good story.
when they do the next version, we're going to do it the right way.
Not have Michael Bay on it.
Yeah. And like for example, here's the other reason why I believe that this is going to be the last Transformers, this iteration of Transformers.
Right.
I think that they dropped the ball with G.I. Joe.
Yes.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
I think, and this is why I think so. Channing Tatum was good. He was adequate as Duke.
Right.
Okay, granted they killed him off in the second film to make fans happy. Okay, whatever. And they put The Rock in. Okay, fine. I personally believe that they missed the boat with that because in the first G.I. Joe movie, they miscast Duke. Yeah. Every fan that I spoke with who's a hardcore Hasbro fan were begging that Mark Wahlberg should have been Duke.
Yeah.
Because of that movie he did called, is it Shooter? Where he was a military, he was an army sniper.
Yep.
And in that movie, he was basically Duke without the fantastic elements.
Yes.
He should have been Duke. I personally believe that if this is going to be the last Transformers movie of this version of Transformers, Wahlberg might be hired to play Duke.
Yeah.
For the next version of G.I. Joe. Because if you notice, there's not been a third G.I. Joe movie to make a G.I. Joe trilogy. They stopped with Retaliation.
Yeah.
The only thing really cool about Retaliation, well, there was a handful of things that were cool with Retaliation to me, which is the introduction of Jinx,
right?
Who the actress is now playing Elektra in the Netflix Daredevil series. Is Bruce Willis as General Joe Colton, the original G.I. Joe.
Oh yeah.
Everything else was like whatever. But I think that The Rock, Dwayne Johnson was good, and they made him Roadblock. No, Heavy Duty.
Yeah, I think it's Heavy Duty.
Yeah. Okay. They just had to find a person of color for the Rock to play.
Yeah.
And they made it a big burly dude, so they had to make it him. But I think that if they were to reboot the G.I. Joe series, they'll do it straight. They'll do it out of the Larry Hama version.
Right. Yep.
And they're going to find somebody who can be those core characters.
Yeah.
They're not going to look for somebody who's a hot name or who's really cool to bring in the female audience.
Yep.
They're going to bring in somebody who embodies that character. Mark Wahlberg embodies Duke.
Yeah.
If they can't get Mark Wahlberg, they'll find the next person to do it. The other thing is I also believe that they're going to get a director who actually cares about the franchise.
Yeah.
Like a Peter Berg,
yeah,
who's done several movies about the military. And I think that he, if they were to bring him in, it gives that G.I. Joe the military edge that Larry Hama created it within it. And then from there they can, they'll boot up the Hasbro verse with Transformers and G.I. Joe so that, they'll be able to add, other characters like Rom and Mask and all this stuff.
I'm waiting for Rom. I want to see Rom on the big screen.
Yeah, and what would be awesome about it is it'll be like the Marvel movies, except with the toys that we played with as kids.
Yeah, yep.
Like as cheesy as it sounds, I would love to see Starbird.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Basically it was the Hasbro version of the Enterprise.
Yep.
But what was cool was it separated into 3 separate ships.
Yep.
I would love to see them do that.
Yeah.
And build a story around that. Not like how they did Battleship, but something similar. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really cool things going on, and I honestly believe that Robotech is definitely the front runner in that mix.
Yeah.
And everything's going to sink or swim on that. Now, granted, I don't believe that Robotech's going to come out before Pacific Rim 2, because Pacific Rim 2 is already in production.
Yeah. Yep.
So I don't believe that Robotech's going to come out before then. But I think that Pacific Rim's going to feed the appetite of the fans who want giant robots.
Yes.
In their movie theaters. But then I think that Robotech is going to blow everybody's doors off.
Yes.
It's going to be the movie. I think it's going to
bring
be
it
the
back
movie.
around.
No, it's going to be the movie that people are going to go, wow, this really is Top Gun with robots.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is.
You got that brash hotshot, young pilot like Maverick, who's in there. You got the mentor, to try to calm him down, and then you got the eye candy, who wants to be a pop idol. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that's oversimplifying Robotech, but that kind of gives you
it gives you a rundown.
The gist of it, of what Robotech is. But I think that from there I wouldn't be surprised if seeing like an American produced version of Gundam.
Yeah.
And that would take it to the next level.
Yeah.
Because Gundam is basically Starship Troopers with robots that are powered by psychic pilots.
Yep.
And that would be amazing.
Yeah.
To see Gundam done that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it opens up a lot. It opens up a lot. The Japanese have shown that they can do it over there with their franchises. Like with Yamato to moderate success. Rurouni Kenshin, but they can't. They're limited by their budgets.
Yeah. And anime is already so insanely popular in U.S. culture anyway.
Exactly.
So making a good popular anime into a movie is a logical move. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like right now in Japan, they're waiting for the Full Metal Alchemist live action movie.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks that that's feeding off of the 2 Attack on Titan films.
Yeah.
The 2 Attack on Titan films were moderately successful.
Moderately, dude. If you go to a con, that's all I see is people dressed as either Deadpool, Harley Quinn, or Attack on Titan.
Yeah, but
I didn't even know what Attack on Titan was.
The anime is huge.
Yeah.
The live action, not so much.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you were saying like Attack on Titan
I think that
itself.
Full Metal Alchemist is going to be an interesting translation.
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting. I honestly believe that if Full Metal Alchemist does really well, don't be surprised if you see something like a Trigun or a Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
Being done in Japan.
Well, Cowboy Bebop is also pretty popular in the U.S. as well.
Yeah, but in Japan.
Yeah.
The United States had been for 10 years trying to produce a live action Cowboy Bebop with Keanu Reeves' production company holding the rights, and Keanu was trying to target himself to be the lead character, Spike Spiegel, but Keanu's aged out,
right?
And so he let the option lapse, and no one's picked it up yet.
Got it. Okay,
but that's cool, because they could do it in Japan and see, do it in Japan as a proof of concept.
Yeah,
much like how the Yamato, the space battleship Yamato movie in Japan was done. They showed that they could do a live action version of it, and it's successful, maintain the core elements of the story. They tweaked it a little bit, but that's
fine.
That's fine. But they showed that visually they could actually make a legitimate looking space battleship Yamato, like an actual starship.
Yeah,
and look plausible. So to see that come to the United States possibly as Star Blazers,
that'd be cool.
But like I said, it hinges on right now how Robotech does, and I think, like I said, Robotech has more than the potential of being the next big thing. And I honestly, on my heart, based on what I've heard and what I've been exposed to, believe that
that's what's coming.
It's going to. If it lives up to the hype, it's going to blow people's doors off.
Cool, man. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, but until then, we have the new comic book from Titan, with big name talent, like Brian Wood, getting behind it, and that's going to be the flagship title. They're going to be other like spin-offs and whatnot that are going to be done as well. The initial Robotech storyline for the comics, as I understand it, is going to be the Macross storyline, the first chapter. So they're going to do it in chronological order.
Cool.
They haven't specified how many chapters it's going to be, how many issues.
Right.
We do know that Robotech is ongoing, but we haven't been made privy as to anything beyond that.
Yeah.
And then insofar as the offshoots, the spin-offs, as I understand it, they're in development and they're just waiting for those stories to be completely produced and ready to go so that they can stay on a regular publication schedule.
Cool. That sounds very cool, man.
So, yeah, there's a lot of Robotech coming out, man. In the next year or so, and fans just hang in there. And then also, one other thing I'd like to make mention is this year will be the 3rd year of the official Robotech fan convention, Protoculture Con.
Okay.
This year, it's going to be held at the headquarters of Harmony Gold.
Oh, that's really cool.
And it's going to be, I believe, in October. And if you go to the Robotech X Facebook fan page, there will be updates.
By chance?
Yeah, there will be updates with regards to all things Robotech, including Protoculture Con. So there is that, and of course, there's the ongoing, collectible toys coming out from Toynami,
right?
And then also the new brands from Kids Logic, and also the T-shirts from 80st.com. And all kinds of other merchandise. So
I love that site.
They're doing it very carefully and purposefully, as opposed to just shotgun approach and get everybody financially fatigued, having to get everything all at once.
Yeah.
So, all you Robotech fans out there, or fans of giant robot anime, or just great stories of whether it involve war or romantic triangles or whatever. Be patient, because it's
coming.
It started as a trickle. Now the faucet's opening up more and more.
Cool. Very cool.
So, but I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to gush about all these things, and also especially about Robotech, because I think a lot of the fans that are out there have been patiently awaiting for this, and they're tired of hearing the same thing about
it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
Hang
Because
tight.
for like 7 years, it languished at Warner Brothers, and that's all we could say.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't anything having to do with Tobey Maguire, whose production company held the rights, but it was all the studio, Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
They did, for some reason. I am of the belief that for some reason they wanted to kind of keep that in the on the back burner, because they had Pacific Rim.
Right.
And they just didn't want to expend the time or the resources and the energy on a different robot franchise that they didn't own outright.
Yeah.
The irony is that they lost Pacific Rim also and went to Universal. But I think that Robotech under Sony is going to be completely different.
Cool.
Any of the casting rumors that you've heard are just that, rumors.
Yeah,
they haven't completely locked down a screenplay that they can set a budget to.
Right.
So they won't announce casting. Plus, until James Wan is done with Aquaman, they can't do any casting.
Yeah,
because the
it's on
director's
hold.
involved in the casting process.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's working on Aquaman as we speak.
Yeah.
The great thing about James Wan is we're not going to have to wait 3 years for him to jump onto Robotech, because he comes from the Hong Kong school of film, where he did movies in HK, and like if you've seen his Conjuring movies, that he's put one out almost one every year.
Yep.
Even after doing Furious 7, he still did another Conjuring movie. Why? Because the way he shoots for economy. He knows what he wants, he gets it, and he moves on.
Yeah.
And once he gets it, he's already in post-production. He's having them edit the rough cut while he's shooting
While he's still shooting, yeah.
So that's what makes James Wan great, because with Aquaman, he's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And I suspect that by the end of the year, when he's done shooting Aquaman, he's going to be moving on to Robotech. That's my suspicion. I'm hoping that we'll have an announcement at San Diego Comic-Con for sure.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. But at the very latest, at Protoculture Con in October.
Cool.
And because Protoculture Con's going to be in Hollywood, I wouldn't be surprised to see some Hollywood types there.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be literally on Sunset Boulevard at the Harmony Gold headquarters.
Yeah.
But here in San Diego, again, this is me speculating. This is not official. This is just speculation. My hope and a hope from a fan's heart, we might see some Hollywood people there, like I don't know, maybe a screenwriter or a producer or somebody
Yeah.
besides the regular Robotech production team there.
Yeah.
You know, to be at the the annual Robotech panel at Comic-Con, and that's usually on the Thursday night. It's usually one of those panels that ends the show on the first night.
Right.
So, you know, it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it, you know, and I'm hoping that, you know, the fans will continue to support and stick with us, you know. And like I said, just stick to the Robotech social media, folks. You're going to be rewarded, because as the news comes out, it's not going to be a trickle. It's going to be full.
It's going to be a
stream
flood.
all the way, you know.
Cool.
All the way. So, yeah, again, I appreciate your time.
Hey, man. Always glad to talk to you, man.
Yeah, and...
All right. Thank you very much,
thank
man.
you. Appreciate it.
All right.
Hey.
So we're back.
So we're back at Southern California Comics for Free Comic Book Day.
It's almost over. It's 3:00, but the rain's come down pretty hard, so people are kind of closing up early.
Yes. A lot of tents are already gone. I don't know if it was so much the rain as the wind was tearing everything apart. Like, we've had a guy over here whose name I didn't catch, but his tent blew over literally twice, like flipped on its side.
I know. I felt bad for him. We just wanted to come back and wrap it up, right?
Yes. I spoke with Ryan, Dexter, and...
Christina and Adrian.
Yes.
I actually randomly, when I was out getting food, I spoke to Maico.
Mr. Moreno.
Mr. Moreno, who was a little intoxicated already because he had been on a flight and he was sitting in a lounge drinking.
From San Diego to L.A.?
Correct. And he asked me, so what did Tom think of Guardians? And I told him, and he goes, I knew it. I liked it, and I knew he would have issues with it. And then Nick came in with his little opinions.
That's funny.
So that'll be pretty fun when you guys wrap it up and talk about Guardians in a month.
In a month, which
Right.
we've already will move on past.
I just told Maico when he called, I'm like, I took the podcast to a different level. We talked about Bravo shows. Is there anything else you got for today? Wrapping it up?
Just want to say that I got new comics today. One of the things I was going to talk about but didn't have time to is some of the new comics that have been coming out, like the X-Men Resurrection titles, which I've been enjoying. But I also picked up, because I deserve it, the Omega Red Bowen statue.
Because I deserve it.
It's awesome.
Like me.
Like me. Not like you, but like me.
That wraps it up for today, right?
Yes, we will be closing up. Almost everyone else, as I said earlier, is pretty much packed up and gone. Didn't get to talk to Sean from the Sci-Fi Coalition, but I can see them across the bushes tearing down their tent. So maybe next time we'll speak with them.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd weather, chilly day. All right, well, I'm Maico Moreno.
You're astonishing, Amy.
What are your adjectives?
I'm uncanny Thomas Logue. And he is mighty Maico Moreno.
How come yours doesn't start with a T?
Because I break all the rules.
All right, I'm astonishing Amy Logue.
I'm uncanny Thomas Logue. And that's it for Southern California Comics Free Comic Book Day.
Can't wait till Maico gets back.
Thank you for listening to the Comic Relief Podcast.
We'll hope you join us next time as we continue to discuss all things comic book related.
And until then, make mine Marvel
And DC.
and independent. Don't forget to check us out at comicreliefpodcast.com, or you can visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Comic Relief Podcast, or go to our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/Comic Relief Podcast. And finally, there is our Twitter page, which is twitter.com/Comic Relief PODC. I'd like to give a special shout out to Travis Richards, who did the music for the Comic Relief Podcast. Visit his website at www.travisarichards.com.
The Comic Relief Podcast is an unscripted discussion about the pulp culture surrounding... Why can't I read one line? The comic book... Why are you laughing at me? Stop laughing.
I didn't say anything.
You did.
Not that time.
The comic...
Wow.
The Comic Book Relief Podcast is an unscripted discussion about the pulp...
It's not the Comic Book Relief Podcast. It's...
Oh my God.
Just read the words. They're in English.
The Comic Relief Podcast is an unscripted discussion about the pop culture surrounding comic books with your host and astonishing Amy Logue. But how do you know this isn't really Maico just transitioning?
It could be. Maico does have nice like you do. Oh, why is Sylvester Stallone looking for Yondu's character, you know?
But he's not looking for Yondu's character.
But that's what I'm saying. I wish he was. To say, hey, you're not a part of the Rabbit.
Well, maybe that already happened.
If it's not in the movie, it didn't happen.
Maybe there was a short that you missed or something.
If there's a Guardian short that I missed, that's impossible.
You just kind of wanted to go on a first date. You just didn't want to just go all in at one time.
I don't want to shoot. That's my problem with the X-Men movies. They always do that with Jean Grey. Like, every X-Men movie, Jean Grey just has the Phoenix Force. And every X-Men movie, after they show you that she has the Phoenix Force, she goes dark. They did it in X-Men 2. They show her at the end. She has the Phoenix Force. X-Men 3, oh my God, it's Dark Phoenix. Now we've seen X-Men Apocalypse. We see the Phoenix Force at the end. Oh my God, the next X-Men movie? X-Men Dark Phoenix.
You know what's so funny about the X-Men movies when you're going through them is that when we watch them, I immediately forget them.
Yeah, they're easy to forget because they're not good. Versus the Guardians of the Galaxy movie where I'm passionate because actually they're really good. Okay. I don't know if I should keep talking over there and help.
I can tell that you're quickly moving over there because you're...
Well, I helped them the first time it blew over. I'm the one who told them to put like the tent things in there. The tent thing idea did not work because there's a part of it sticking out. But literally almost every minute you would fall asleep. Like I'd wake you up and you're like, no. Is it almost over? And I was like, there's 18 more minutes. Just go to bed. You're like, no, I'm going to stay awake. And I look over and when there's 16 minutes and you're asleep, I wake you up again. You're like, no. I just want to make it to the end. I was like, okay,
yeah,
just go to bed.
You can tell
like,
it captured my...
At 15 minutes left, you were asleep again. And this, folks, was at like 8:15 at night. So it's not like it was 10:30 at night that we're watching this and she might be tired.
Maybe it didn't capture my imagination very much.
Clearly. I mean, I've enjoyed all the Star Wars movies. Oh, he has a He-Man thing.
Oh. Like a squirrel went by or something. Oh.
I just saw the Castle Grayskull thing. Oh, no, that's not Castle Grayskull. Okay, I'm okay.
I'm okay. Maybe when we come back, we can break down the characters of Southern Charm. You know them.
I only know the crazy redhead and the other girl that I said is cute.
Landon.
Yeah.
I wonder if people are like fast forwarding the podcast. They're like, when do they stop talking about Bravo shows?
We are back here at San Diego Comic Fest at Southern California Comics.
Comic Fest. Why did you say
Why
Comic?
Did I say comic? I noticed that you took a video of him too. That was very nice of you.
Did I?
Yeah, there's like a 5-minute or a 5-second video of him just staring.
Oh, like.
Oh.
He's like, why
did he call you and not me?
No, I called him.
Oh, I see.
To tell him that I took the podcast to the Bravo show level. I'm astonishing.
Finish it. Astonishing what?
Amy.
Logue.
Say
it all together as one word.
Astonishing Amy Logue.
Why do you look away when you say it?
We miss you, Maico.
And that was Colleen, if that wasn't obvious.